Welcome back to the Destination Gettysburg podcast. And it's a beautiful time of year, as is pretty much most any time of year here in Gettysburg, to grab your bicycle and just enjoy the views. And right now I have Tom Jolin with me. He is from HABPI, which is HABPI, and that stands for the Healthy Adams Bicycle Pedestrian Incorporated. Is that correct?
That's correct.
It's much easier to say HABPI, and it's a lot happier. We are thrilled to have you with us today because a little known thing about Gettysburg is you don't have to walk, you don't have to drive, you can ride your bicycle. In many parts of the area, in town, on the battlefield, wherever the case may be, thanks in large part to this organization, which has worked tirelessly through the years to create trails and maps and so forth. If you're like me, you don't have a bicycle currently. You have options when you come to town. But if you do have a bicycle and you're planning to come to Gettysburg, throw it on the roof, throw it wherever you can put it, and bring it to town. On our website, just dropping ours out there while I'm thinking about it, destinationgettysburg.com. The maps and cue sheets, but you can also find those through your organization's website as well. It's all there for the taking. We'll put some links to it in the show notes for you. Those maps and cue sheets really can paint a picture of what you can do in this area on a bicycle. What do you personally like to do the most when you're on two wheels?
Well, I do the Gettysburg National Military Park, and it's it's endless things to see and endless feelings that come to me when I realize the phenomenal things that happen here in Gettysburg. In the 70s, my father was out here to visit me, and he was a teacher, and he was just so moved that he was actually in the place where the Battle of Gettysburg was. And I have to say I'm cut from that cloth, and I have the same emotional response that this was so much of as they say, cliche, where our nation was preserved. And the high water mark, where I would take my grandchildren out. And you say, where are you doing? Well, the Gettysburg Military Battlefield roads will take you there, and eventually you'll come to the high water mark. And I would take my grandkids out there, and it's just such good fodder for discussing things. So I had to explain, what does high water mean? And what does it have anything to do with water at all? Well, not in this case. It has to do with the top of something, the end of something, how high it got. And we talk about slavery, and one was in 7th grade or 6th grade, one was in 4th grade. So they're well aware of it, but they never put together high water. This is the spot where slavery was stopped in its tracks. That was very significant to them to know that oh my God, right here, and their father grew up in this town, and it's right here. Honestly, Rick, it leads to other things. If you happen to be with family members, it has wonderful conversation. So the Gettysburg Area Military Park roads are very good. If you want to know some more favorites of mine, I could go on.
Sure.
Okay, I think people would love it. There is something not to be missed. It's out by the Eisenhower Farm. It's slightly off the battlefield roadway.
Okay.
And it's the covered bridge, Sex Covered Bridge. Yes. And it is a gem. It has been preserved. And it's just such a peaceful, placid place to be at. And you see people fishing and people gathering, young lovers gathering. And it's a lovely place. And one other place that I used to live. Now I live in Gettysburg, and I'm so pleased with it. But my kids went to the Gettysburg school system, and I would bike in from a place called Ortana. That was 12 miles out, and I'd have panniers, take some groceries back home. I had meetings, had church, and is a famous, just a wonderful ride and very lovely place to go. In the town of Ortana, people might have to go to a map and say, where is that? But, you'll find it. There are some good back roads. If you have a Google bicycle route, they'll take you on safe routes to get there. But there's a first-class, lovely family restaurant called Hickory Bridge. And oh my, they are, it is just the best. It's family restaurant. It's good eating, and it's pleasant, and people are kind there. So, and by the way, the owner is also a bicyclist. So she goes. That's how she clears her head.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are some of my favorites.
Wonderful. Yeah. The nice thing about HABPI's website is obviously you have the maps. But then you have places throughout Adams County that you can look to for if you need a bike rack. You have the locations of that and so forth. It's a great thing to have here. It's a quiet town. And as you mentioned earlier, whether it's couples at Sachs Bridge or there are many ways that you can take in the area, see the sights. And again, just to point out the fact that when you're checking these sites out for yourself, you can stop, reflect, and not feel like there's a time clock ticking for your next stop. But on that note, whenever you're looking for your next stop, whether it's the inner loop, the Gettysburg inner loop, the South Gettysburg Trail, East Gettysburg Trail, so many different things that you can check out. It's all right there for you on HABPI's website. How long did it take you to put all this together?
Well, that's a very good question. This makes a better culture if we have a bicycle system, and so it is not going to snap your fingers and happen overnight. And so I think that the current board of HABPI, the years to come, it'll be built on their shoulders. It got a wonderful start. We have some safe infrastructure in, and I think that it is self-perpetuating, to tell you the truth, once people see what it is. A lot of our board members, they say, gee, when I was growing up, and this would be my case too, we always biked wherever we went. We'd go to the swimming hole, we'd go to basketball practice, baseball, and it was how we handled life. We'd go to our job. And that got lost with our euphoria after having the Depression and World War II be over is like, oh my God, I don't believe we could even live through that mess. But so the car came of age, and everyone was using a vehicle. The roads got faster, traffic got faster, and they got narrower, and so it became unsafe for bicycles. That was the sad loss there. HABPI is reversing that, and we have a lot of older people like myself that say, "Oh yeah, I do remember as a child that we did everything on a bike," and and there's a lot of receptiveness to that approach that we can change it around. How long is it going to take? Yeah, it'll be after my lifetime is over. But we got to start, and a lot of cultures are way ahead of Gettysburg, but Gettysburg has got a very good, firm start. I look at Colorado, California. My wife happens to be Dutch, and so she was born in Netherlands, and so we go visit her family, and who walks, right? Takes a car. Nobody. Everyone takes their bike wherever they go. So I was used to that mentality, and from my wife, and it's something we're bringing back into our culture. It doesn't dismay me that we're not there yet, but we've made good progress. And one nice thing when it comes to tourism is that it's quiet. It's very gentle, it's slow moving, and it's very accommodating of people that want to come and enjoy themselves and be relaxed if they're tourists. And to some degree, they're going to find that in Gettysburg, because if they get on our tours or if they go out on the National Military Park battlefields, if they go through Gettysburg on the bike map will show what parts are finished And we didn't put the to be completed ones on the map because we didn't want to confuse anybody.
Sure.
We have that on
For
our
safety
own.
reasons as
Yeah.
well. Right. These maps are very well thought out, but at the same time, please exercise caution. Your own caution as you're sharing.
I'm going to underline that because we're always responsible for our own safety.
Sure.
If on a bike, especially on a bike, if in a car or for walking, we cannot walk onto the middle of the street without thinking.
Sure.
But with bicycles, you want to especially watch it with children. And we would, as I said, we'd take our children on bicycle vacations. And you realize very quickly that they don't have the maturity
Sure.
to know what grown-ups can see. So you have to watch out for them, and just like I watch out for myself. So,
Or they get excited and forget which way is left and which way is right. So it can happen. It can happen to me. So I'm sure it can happen to kids too.
yeah.
But obviously we want to have that in mind at all times.
I will say that if families come, young families, they will have the time of their life because there's so many safe areas where they can bring their children and feel relatively safe. And if they
Rec park or wherever I'm
Rec park is totally safe, but even out on the battlefield roads, they can shepherd them and keep them. There's some cars out there, but cars move slowly, and I would do it. I do it with my own grandkids. So
Yep. And to emphasize in your name, Healthy Adams, it's not just Gettysburg. Obviously, we talk a lot about Gettysburg. We point out to the town here. It's throughout Adams County that you can experience the area, as is anything you come to our area for. Branch out and go to different parts of Adams County because there is really a lot to offer aside from just the battlefield. And if you don't have a bicycle, there are options for you. You can rent them. You could rent them along with a tour, for that matter. Getty's Bike will help you out with that as well. Do you have any other options that come to mind?
That's the only rental area company in the town, and that's out at the National Military Park. And they're very, very accommodating. So, our family owns our own bikes, but we had family that came in from Indianapolis, and they said, well, we'd like to bike. We'd like to do a tour. So I called them, get his bike up, and said, well, we want to reserve some bikes. That's the best thing to do because during busy times, they might run out of equipment. You want to check with them. And they were so accommodating. He said, yep, we'll have the 4 you want. We'll have them ready for you. And we showed up at 10, and he said, we closed it. He gave us the time. He closed it down. He said, now, if you're going to be out later, we'll give you a lock, and you can just lock it up here when you get back.
Okay.
And I think he feels safe doing that because he took our credit card number before.
Yeah, sure.
And it was very, very accommodating. And so bending over backwards, I know the family, and they give dynamite tours with a certified tour guide. So it's really quite a deal.
Wonderful.
There's another outfit, Voyager Bike Tour, Bicycle Voyager. They do quite a few tours here, and they work with Brafferton Inn, who lodges them, and they have inside storage for their bicycles and treat them very well. And
then the other part of your the name, anyway, of course, if you don't want to ride a bicycle, maybe you don't know how to ride a bicycle, you don't have to. The pedestrian side of things, there's a number of trails, parks, hiking, even equestrian trails that you can take part in, whether it's the military park itself or one of the state parks in the area, Michaud State Forest, and so forth.
You are so right. When I'm out, I see the horses come through, and I'm out bicycling, and of course you'll stop and let them go across. You don't want to spook a horse, and it feels just so natural to watch a large horse carrying people, and it's a rather lovely sight and so appropriate to Gettysburg. Very, very nice. One thing I want to go back to, favorite places to go. There is some ponding between Little Round Top
Okay.
and Devil's Den. And I have to stop there almost every time because there's ducks, geese, waterfowl, and there's even beavers from time to time.
Oh, yes, we're well aware of the beavers.
It's really pretty. And
Yep.
so it's I don't know if I sound a little bit sentimental, but to me, it's a very emotional and spiritual, actually, to be out at in Gettysburg, where it all happened. And it's I get this feeling, and Gettysburg's a very welcoming town. It's very quiet, so you're going to get that feeling anyway. So.
But no matter what time of day you're out, there's a different feeling you get. If it's early morning hours, it's that, that calm. It could be the middle of the day, maybe late afternoon per se. It's hard to describe, but just different feelings you get throughout different times of the day. And when you have your bike, you can go out whichever time you like.
That's true, yeah. You have great flexibility.
Yep.
And I totally agree with what you said. All those sites you were just talking, and even at the end of the day, the long shadows that are being cast across there, and the more orange glow of the sun, and that's and you look towards the South Mountains, which is where I used to live out by Ortana, and I can see the hill where we used to live, and it's a mighty good feeling. So, but I stayed here, and it's just such a lovely place to have come across. So I'm very, very happy with my station in life on that.
Excellent. And you have events throughout the year
Yep.
from time to time. What type of events do you offer?
Well, there's a whole series of rides that'll be on our website, but the two bigger ones are a fundraiser we do called Ride for Trails, and that's usually the last weekend of September or early October, and that's really fun. Throw on a good meal for people, and generally close to 100 show up on that. Usually 90 people, but it's all people of every caliber. A very short ride, very long ride, and something in between. So every year we do a kids bicycle parade at the Heritage Festival,
Okay.
and that's fun. We put up $350 towards a new bike for people. The kids will come in and they'll register, and they'll decorate their bikes with crepe paper and pipe cleaners, and the mayor be the parade marshal, and they give a little inspiring piece. And Rita from Gettysburg Borough, she's been a parade marshal, and
Wonderful.
various people. Yeah,
It's a proud thing to be able to have that mingling going on.
is just that I'm a pretty lucky person to live here. I get to experience it now daily, and as a resident. So I deal with quite a few groups that come in, and they all say, "Boy, it's nice. It's a welcoming place here." And
We're glad to have you in the area, doing what you do, and it's a big team of people you have on your side. Like I mentioned earlier, that whatever the case may be, or just putting things online for people to access. There's a great deal of effort in that, and we truly appreciate that here at Destination Gettysburg. So thank you so much for your time today.
thank you back, Rick.
You got it.
Thank you for listening to the Destination Gettysburg podcast, produced and hosted by Rick Kennis, with thanks to our special guest. No part of this material may be reproduced without written permission. Get inspired for your visit to Adams County, Pennsylvania at destinationgettysburg.com.